Dragon Ball Legends 7th year anniversary is coming to a close, and throughout the anniversary they gave us tickets for free guaranteed Legends Limited characters, which obviously were free, so I have saved all of them and we'll be doing them in this video, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe and let's get into it. But first, they also gave us other tickets as well, so thanks for 7 years. So I'm going to use some of these, including we got the SP guaranteed, and then we've got the 777 free summons as well. I don't think we'll do all of them in this video, but we'll go through pretty much a lot of these. So we'll start off here, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to talk about my thoughts with the 7th year anniversary. Overall, considering all parts, so part 1, part 2, part 3, I felt relatively satisfied with all of it. Part 3 was very, very hype. I thought it was on point, part 3. Having 2 Ultra units, yes, it is annoying to pull for 2 Ultra units. Yes, it costs more CC and things like that. But ultimately, in these type of games, having more is always better, surely. Because then, okay, another Sparkin. Oh, these are all guaranteed Sparkins, aren't they? But yeah, having more is always better because it's more expansive with teams like the Namek Saga teams become an actual team. Lineage of Evils come back up. We've got Saiyans and Song Family and things like that. And it's made PvP a little bit more... what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, not everyone's running the same team. It's made it a little bit more expansive and things like that. And you can expect a little bit of difference throughout it as well. So I thought part 3 was absolutely fantastic. And we actually had the Porunga Dragon Balls as well. To get extra CC, all that extra stuff, and the events and everything were pretty good. And we actually had some free Ultra multi-Z power as well for Frieza, which is amazing. They've actually shown a bit of an inkling, only a bit, because not for Goku, but a bit of an inkling of being open a little bit to updating the Ultra banners, which I personally think they should have done about a year ago at this point. But having 3 times rates for Frieza shows that they are willing to change it a little bit, but we'll see how we go throughout that. So that's basically part 3, which personally I think they did absolutely amazing with. As you can probably tell, I'm going back from part 3 to part 1, and I'll tell you the reason why as we go through this. So part 2 I also thought was very, very good. Sure, the units, Goku, Kaioken Goku, and Vegeta, you could have had some hyper picks. Personally for me, I like the Saiyan Saga. I think it was about time that they had some representation, and I think both the units are absolutely fantastic as well. Kaioken Goku's really, really annoying to deal with his gauge. He does a lot of damage, and Vegeta all-round, as an all-round unit, is amazing, and one of the best Vegeta units on release, to be completely honest. But I totally get people's point with not the hypest characters, you know, it's not like it was part 1 with the UI Goku and Evo Vegeta, and it's not like the Beast Gohans or the Gogeta or the Vegetos and all that sort of stuff. It was a little bit more milder when it came to the characters, but the characters were very, very good to make up for that. But like I said, I'm quite happy with having those units, to be completely honest. But I know a lot of people sort of complain about the hypeness with it. But the biggest thing about part 2 is obviously the update. So having the overdrive and the ground battles and things like that as well. I think that in itself kind of gave them a little bit of leeway to go, let's do Saiyan Saga, because ultimately it's probably one of the biggest updates to Dragon Ball Legends ever. It was really hyped. It's made the game feel quite a bit different. It's made the game feel a lot more refreshing, which that in itself sort of added a lot more hype into that part 2. Maybe where the units didn't quite have that hype, the new battle system basically upped it a little bit more, just to bring that extra hype sort of factor into it. The Goku was just pulled, actually. His equipment, very, very good as well. But yeah, part 2 I thought was really, really good. For me personally, Saiyan Saga, I quite enjoyed it. I like the banner units as well. Sure, out of the whole of the anniversary, Nappa's not the greatest, But it's nice to see that they brought some new mechanics, trying something new basically. So we'll see what they do with that moving forward. But overall, part 2, the units were absolutely fantastic. The new battle system has worked really well. Sure, they've got a little bit of trial and error to do. So like in some of the maps on the ground battles, it is quite laggy, and I think that's nothing to do with the players, whether you play on either sides of the world or the Wi-Fi or anything like that. I think it's just purely the maps. But it was a good start, and I think they fine-tuned it quite a bit. One question that I know a lot of other people have been asking as well is, why did that not come for part 1? That is the major issue with it, if anything, which is not a bad issue, but it's just a bit, raises questions why it came for that part rather than part 1. So that's kind of part 2 in a bit of a nutshell in my thoughts. Obviously put your thoughts on all of these parts down below as well. But part 1, the reason I've gone back from part 3 to part 1 is because I think they knocked it out of the park with part 3. I think a 9, maybe a 10 out of 10 for part 3. Part 2, with the battle system consideration, I think you're probably looking at like a 7 or an 8 out of 10 for part 2. Obviously the only factor that would have, we're going to get a Legends Limited, are we? The only thing that would have made that bit better if they were hyper picks for characters, like a little bit more exciting and things. But like I said, for me personally, I'm okay with that. So I imagine a lot of people will probably score it a little bit less. Part 1 though. Part 1. Bearing in mind, as many of people, I've heard many of other YouTubers and other people say this as well, part 1 is very, very important for any big celebration. The reason being, for part 1 to be really important, is it sets the tone for the rest of the anniversary. Obviously, it's, what's it, like 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks or whatever for part 1. When's that guy going to get his Zenkai, by the way? Where's this Legends Limited as well? I will carry on once there he is. Who is it? Muzamsu, sure. So, we got another one. Margin Vegeta. I don't need either of them, but sure. I'll take the hype of just multiple Legends Limited units. We'll have a little look at the banner after this as well, because I'm not sure if there is any characters I can actually use out of this, but whatever. So part 1 is major for any of these type of games. Dokkan, Dragon Ball Legends, there's loads of other ones as well, like Gotcha games, to set the tone for the rest of the anniversary. So it's very important to have very good picks, which, don't get me wrong, transforming UI into MUI Goku is a very good pick. Personally, for me, because I'm a Vegeta fanboy, Evo Vegeta is a good pick as well. Although, most likely, most people just summon for UI Goku, which is fair enough. But also, to make sure that you've got not overwhelming amount of content straight away, but you've got a good drip feed of content throughout that to set a good tone for part 2 and part 3. Whilst I do feel like they redeemed themselves quite a bit for part 2 and part 3, part 1 was dead, man. It was just dead. So MUI Goku, absolutely crazy unit. Everyone was using him. Sort of ran the game for part 1. Evo Vegeta, I liked Evo Vegeta, and I liked the concept. Part 2 did make him kind of null and void, because with part 2 and that extra battle system drop-in, because of the overdrive, you do not want to carry on just doing loads of combos. That's what Evo Vegeta is based around. And what I found was, within part 1, quite quickly people just stopped using Evo Vegeta. Mainly because they had MUI Goku. He was by far, in and away, the better unit. You've got to make these characters comparable. Even if they've got different reasons to be on the team, they've got to be as good as each other, even if that is for a different reason. So like Kaioken Goku and Vegeta in part 2, I personally think they're as good as each other. Kaioken Goku, you could argue, is a little bit better. Vegeta, you could argue, is a little bit better. But they're about the same. Sure, they've got completely different roles. Like Vegeta's got the revival and all that sort of stuff. Then Kaioken Goku's got his gauge and he just does overwhelming damage. They've got different roles on the team, but they work well together. and they are very good units, and I think they're kind of on par with each other. Part 1, though, MUI Goku just... Evo Vegeta was just overshadowed by him, like 100%. Another thing that they did, which is very, very weird, and they don't normally do this for teams, is brought out Evo Vegeta and Kaba, made them blast-based, then MUI Goku and Kale and Khalifa made them strike-based. So they basically split the Universe Rep into being a strike and a blast team, which is interesting. I don't know why they would do that, personally. Because then what that meant, with UI Goku being 100% better, because generally a lot of people will know this, so that's all those summons. I'm not going to do the 5 tickets here, we'll go into some of the 77, and maybe we can get an LF over here as well. The thing is, a lot of people would know that generally speaking, when you're building a team, you want to make it based around what sort of types your characters are. So for example, if you've got 2 strike-based units, you want to make your team very strike-orientated. You've got a lot of blast units, you want to make your team very blast-orientated, including the bench units, buffing that specific stat that makes them better, so they shine out. Making MUI Goku so much better than Vegeta meant that you could run them together, you get away with it, but Vegeta didn't look as good as he would on a strike-based team as he would on a blast-based team. And people wanted to run MUI Goku because he was just simply better. So Vegeta got forgotten about quite quickly. So part 1 with the character picks, not because Vegeta, Evo Vegeta and Blue Vegeta is not hype or nobody likes him or anything like that. Just the way that they designed the 2 characters was interesting. Like, they gave UI Goku things that I felt like they didn't need to give him, like the cost increase, for example, when he gets hit. That doesn't need to be up with him. You could have just given that to Vegeta, taken it off of UI Goku, and that would have balanced things a lot more. Let's just skip through that. At least we know we're going to get a spark in. The other thing, the big thing out of part 1, the second week, so we had a lot of stuff starting off. We had obviously Shenron, we had the equipment for Goku and Frieza, we had the banners, we had a load of other stuff as well. But was it week 2 or week 3, I think it was, where we had the Jiren drop and nothing else. Just nothing else whatsoever. I know from watching other YouTubers and doing it myself, I know that a lot of people doing YouTube found it a struggle to do content that week because there was nothing to do. And I know a lot of people complained about that. There was just legitimately nothing to do. You grinded out Jiren, you were done. Because chances are everything else that was released as the anniversary started, you've already grinded. So you were done. And it was just as simple as that. That's not a good look for the anniversary. Like I said, part 1 is very, very important to get right as well, because it sets the tone for the rest of the anniversary. Even though I think they did redeem themselves, it gives you a bit of a sour taste in your mouth, because that first part was just bad. So I don't think it was like terrible. I don't think it was the worst part 1 that they've ever done ever, or like the worst thing ever in any of these type of games. I'd probably give it like a 5 out of 10, maybe a 4, just because the character picks were pretty good, but they did fumble Vegeta quite a bit. Not because of the philosophy that they gave him, but because part 2 came around and just made him null and void. And then it was just very, very quiet throughout part 1. That's how I felt. I don't know about any of you. Well, I do know that a couple of people have posted and things like that on social media that they felt that as well, but yeah, just a little bit. Oh, I'll take that. A little bit of a letdown, if I'm honest, for part 1. We did get the Zenkai Revival UI Goku, and that was... So we had... That's another point that I wanted to talk about with Zenkais. So the Revival UI Goku is very good. He is very good, and he is what Universe Rep needs. Don't get me wrong, the Blast-based team can use him probably a little bit more, but he fits on a strike-based team, so he works either way, which is really good. But with him being... So how many Zenkais did we get throughout this celebration? We had the Zenkai Final Form Frieza, who is very good actually, and long awaited as well. the Revival UI Goku. So we had 2 Zenkai Revival units. And that was it. That was it. My question to that is, why? Why? Why did we only get 2 Zenkais? It makes absolutely no sense. I don't know whether they were putting a lot more resource, because we had new summon animations, which I personally have not seen live myself yet. But we had new summon animations, we had a lot of equipment, which I'll go over in a second as well. I don't know whether they put a lot of resource into other things, and that meant that they couldn't focus it into Zenkais, but you've got to do better. As far as Zenkai Awakenings go in the anniversary, the 2 that we got were very, very good. But because of the lack of it, you'd have to give like a 5 out of 10 for that. It was not good. We were constantly expecting a new Zenkai, and it just never came. I was thinking in this after party they might have just gone Zenkai mad, but they still haven't. So I don't know what they're waiting for, whether they've just forgotten Zenkais are a thing and just started doing equipment. I don't know. So the Zenkais weren't good throughout it either. The very last topic I really wanted to speak about before we go into the Guaranteed Legends Limited summons is the equipments that we got. So we got a lot of unique equipments, whether they were platinum equipments, unique equipments, whatever. We got the hit, we got the Saiyan Saga Goku, we had another one for Final Form Frieza. Who else got unique equipments in some way, shape or form? Charlotte. Actually, that's another point I will talk about. Charlotte had his own platinum equipment, and they have revitalized him, which is absolutely fantastic, because bearing in mind he's a free unit, so everyone can use that as well. That was absolutely fantastic. That was really good. I'm sure there was a couple of others as well, but I have the feeling that they thought these equipment were good enough to replace some Zenkais. That are obviously Goku and Frieza. That's the feeling I get throughout this, which it's nice to have these unique equipments, whether they're platinum or not. And a lot of the characters obviously are a lot better now. Like Hit's very usable, the Saiyan Saga Goku very, very tanky, very good for his teams. The Final Form Frieza finally has had some redemption. The Goku Frieza still very good, and they're very good unique equipments, but I personally don't think it makes up for the Zenkais. One very last thing I will talk about was the raids. Obviously, as normal, we get a weekly raid, very good, CC, loads of resources, all that sort of stuff. Just because I mentioned Charlotte, the Charlotte raid, as part of the story, was very interesting, and yeah, I think people got a little bit bored after the 3rd fight, if I'm completely honest. However, they were very good raids. Yes, you had, 1,500 CC across the board for them. This will be the last summon, by the way. Across the board for them, which were okay. Can we get a Legends Limited here? Which is free CC. Sure, you would have liked more, but we always do. But the multi-Z power that they gave out on it, and the slot removers and things, that was crazy. You could theoretically do enough, if you grinded enough on there, you could theoretically, for example, pull Krillin or Kalen Caulifla or Tien or someone like that and get them to 14 stars from 3 stars. Granted, it would take a lot of grinding, but theoretically you could do that because it was just unlimited multi-Z power. I just funneled loads of multi-Z power. There's a Legends Limited, Vegeta Blue, into a lot of my characters and got them up quite a lot of stars, to be fair, the ones that were a little bit lacking. And that was absolutely fantastic. That gave a little bit more to do as well throughout the weeks. So that was a very good aspect as well. And obviously we had the Dragon Balls and all the other stuff as well. So that's kind of, in a wraps, my thoughts on the anniversary. I've got a couple of more thoughts as well. If people want me to do... Oh, I tell you what, we'll do these. These are Guaranteed Legends Limited units. I can do another video if people want to see my thoughts in full. Hit that like button, comment down below, let me know. But I just wanted to cover it whilst we did a couple of these summons. I'll probably do the rest off camera because, as we've seen, I've got a lot of these characters, so they're not the hypers, but, Vegeta, okay. I tell you what, actually, let's have a little look who's on this banner. Can I actually use anyone? Kaioken Goku, I think I can use you. Beast Gohan, maybe. Pikkon, I think I can use. Gammas, I think, maybe. Revival Goku, I just talked about him. If people pulled him, that would be very good. I think I can use 17. There's a couple, I think. But we'll use them. So we are into the guaranteed Legends Limited summons now. And then we've got the one every, what was it, 7 days, I think? They gave you a ticket. So we've got 5 in total. Or was it 10 days? But we'll see in a second. So we'll do them as well. And they're like a step-up fashion. Oh, we've got Broly. Okay, I was just about to skip it. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts over the anniversary. Overall, I'd probably give the anniversary like a 7. Because part 2 and part 3, crazy. Really, really good, in my personal opinion. Part 1 was a bit of a letdown. If they smashed out of the park with part 1, lots of really good stuff to do. Well, they did give out loads of CC, to be fair. Lots of stuff to do. They didn't make Vegeta null void. Okay. And they just did a little bit more in part 1. That would lift it to like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. I think it's very, very hard to get 10 out of 10. You need to like literally smash it out of the park. You need to do everything everyone wants. Give out 100k CC, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, part 1's just let it down. So I was tempted of giving like a 6.5, but I do think part 2 and part 3 were good enough to bring it back up to a 7 personally. But let me know your thoughts on it down below. I've also been talking for quite a while. I didn't even realise. So we'll get into these guaranteed Legends Limited summons. Obviously, we've just done some there. So the Z Power list. So every 7 days, yeah. So we've got 5 tickets here. I need to use them. Let's have a look at the Z Power list here. I don't think I can use any of these characters. There might be 1 or 2 I can use. Maybe First Form Frieza. Let's get into it though, but as we go through this, it'll incrementally change the actual banner units. So I'm sure I'll be able to use a couple of the units later down the line. Let me know who you managed to pull out of these banners as well. I might actually clip this and do it as shorts. I just want to have a little bit of talk about the anniversary now that it has come to a close and we're in the after party. I don't personally consider the after party as part of the anniversary. And we've got very good bench for a lot of the units released, but I don't need it. Let's go back, have a little look at who's on this step. Blue boys don't need a lot of these units, to be fair. Okay, sure, let's see who we get though. Yeah, I don't consider the after party to be part of the anniversary personally. So I just wanted to do a bit of a summary video talking about it, doing some guaranteed Legends Limited summons, and we just have a bit of a chill, to be honest. Right, who do we get here? Let's see. Legends Limited, shocker that. Gogeta. Very good pull, but I don't need him. Right, now this is a little bit of a stronger step. So we've got the Z-Boys, who I think I can use them actually. Revival Goku, I don't think I can use you. 17, I think I can use. Trunks and Vegeta, not sure to be honest off the top of my head. Everyone else I think I've got 14 stars pretty much. Let's get into it, let's see who we got here. I'm probably just going to skip through these animations because we've pretty much seen everything. And we got Deja Vu, okay. Right, okay, now we're getting into the meat of things. Goku and Bardock, don't need them. Nappa, I can use you. Super Baby 2, I can use you. Super Vegeta, I think I can use you, but don't really want to pull a copy of him if I'm honest. Super 17, I can definitely use. So let's get into it. Let's see who we get here. Let's see who we get in this one. So we do have Tao with Blue Skies. Let's just skip through because even if it's a Broly, we've seen it already. Revival Gohan, who could have had a Zenkai, you know, in this particular one. Alright, so now we have got God Goku, who I think I can use. Ultimate Gohan, I think I can use you. Vegeta and Goku. Goku and Vegeta. Sure, I'll take any of those top ones, if I'm honest. Let's see who we get here. A lot of you have probably already done these summons as well, so once again, let me know who you pulled down below. We'll let this full animation go out, even though it's unfortunately boring green skies, just because it is the last summon of the video, and we'll wrap it up there. Oh, okay. Alright, just a bit of a dead animation into Spirit Bomb Goku, who I can't use. Okay, but at least I will do another video on these as well, by the way. At least we had a little bit of a talk about my thoughts on the 7th year anniversary. Let me know your thoughts on it down below as well. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe if you haven't already. I was just seeing if we had any more tickets we could do there. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you later.